At FS Expo, I tried the upcoming TFDI MD11. In spite of my horrific piloting skills, I filmed my experience for you guys, and in today's video I will be recapping over my time with the great American trijet. Before we get into it, I'm going to do something I seldom do, a polite request to ask, if you haven't already, to be sure to subscribe. Only 30% of you watching right now are subscribers, so why not click that red button to stay up to date with some of the best Microsoft Flight Sim content and join me on my flight training journey in real life. It is much appreciated. On that note, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the MD11. Now, TFDI Designs are building a high fidelity rendition of this American trijet. The MD11 is basically a stretched out version of the infamous DC-10. Luckily, the MD11 did not inherit the poor reputation of the DC-10 with its terrible safety record, and therefore this free-engined long hauler remains in service today. You can often find the MD11 flying around with cargo airlines, despite production ending in 2000. Now, according to TFDI's well laid out website, the Microsoft Flight Sim MD11 they're working on is 72% flight ready. Note that doesn't mean 72% ready. I think there's going to be a slight distinction between what they'd want to release as and ready for flight. Saying that, I did take it for a 15-minute or so flight at this year's FS Expo in Houston, so that was very obviously in a work in progress state, so do bear that in mind when I share the footage with you in a minute. Of course, the project did encounter a bit of controversy when it was announced that this aircraft would be available via pre-sale. I believe they gave away 1,000 pre-sale copies or so for a reduced rate. And actually, as we speak, another pre-sale has been launched, meaning you can pay $80 US, once again a slightly reduced rate, to fly the MD11 as soon as it does come out. But according to TFDI, you'll still be waiting until at the earliest late 2023. In my opinion, $80 US, well, it is very pricey, and to be honest, probably too expensive for me as a teenager, but TFDI believe that their Boeing licensed MD11 will go leaps and bounds above expectations and certainly be worth that price. So let's take a look at the MD11 in its current work in progress state, shall we? As I show you some early video footage from FS Expo, I do apologise for the awkward camera angle. I couldn't hold it while I was flying, so I had to put it to the side. Also, I will say I was limited to how much I could move around in the plane, as I wasn't familiar with TFDI's controller setup, nor did we have rudder pedals, so I was basically just using a side stick to control the plane. No throttle quadrant as well, so my flying probably wasn't as precise as it normally is. On that note, enjoy my very dodgy flying. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so hopefully you got a pretty decent look there. I know it's quite raw flying footage, but some things to keep in mind, aside from the fact it's work in progress. Some stuff was not functional when I was there, such as click spots on the spoilers, so I couldn't actually put them up because they hadn't been coded into the controls. As well as this, auto flight has been disabled for the display, so I didn't get to try it out, although I was not told why. And on top of that, there were no sounds on display. I believe this is the last bit TFDI Designs will be focusing on according to their website. Saying that, I did take a look at the FMS, the flight management system, which is pretty much fully functional now. And a lot of the displays are really well made already, so that's a good sign. On top of that, the flight model is definitely challenging and a lot of fun, and I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't stall. I did stall once.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I forgot you really have to chuck in some power for this aircraft. I think the issue with me was I was sort of flying like a 737 because that's what I'm used to, but of course it could not be any more different. On top of that, the external model and textures seemed pretty much incredible to me. While I couldn't get the spoilers up, looking outside, this aircraft looks really nice. Saying that, the cockpit maybe needs a bit more work in terms of textures. If I was going to compare it to anything, I would say it's a bit below the standard of the PMDG 737 inside at the moment. That is, of course, my opinion, but I'm sure you've reached your own opinions from the footage I've shown you on the screen. The real highlight for me, however, was familiarising myself with some MD11 unique features, such as dialer flap, which is basically where you tell the aircraft a more precise flap setting you want, and it will actually go down direct to that point, which I thought was pretty cool, as opposed to just a set number. All in all, it was pretty fascinating. It would be great to be able to sit down with this aircraft for an hour or so to really get a feel for it, but then I might as well have bought it. What do I think? Well, I think it's got a lot of potential. TFDI Designs are obviously a very talented team. On the other side of that, sort of away from all the things I saw at FS Expo, since they have just announced a new pre-sale, I can't help but feel they're sort of trying to raise more funds before they actually release the product. I originally thought the first pre-sale was sort of a one-off opportunity, at least that's what it felt like. Legally, I haven't read the terms and conditions, so I can't really go into much more detail, but I can't help but feel if you were a first pre-sale buyer, you might be slightly annoyed that once again people have the opportunity to, if you were told that there was a limited amount of aircraft up for grabs, which I believe was around 1,000. Aside from that, that's just my personal opinion, and of course I'm not a lawyer. I've got no idea about the law there, so that's just my opinion as an outsider. On that note, I really hope you've enjoyed this video showcasing my look at the MD11 by TFDI Designs. I'm looking forward to it. It is pricey, but I know a lot of people will be interested in it. On that note, guys, leave your thoughts down below. I would love to hear them. Have a good one. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye bye.